Hello, Mustangs. We are starting Unit 10 today. Unit 10 is all about surface area and volume of three-dimensional figures. Okay, so the notes that go along with this video are also in our calendar as a link, so you may want to have those out and ready as you can follow along with the video as well. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, we're going to be talking today about the surface area of a prism. Okay, so a definition of a prism is a solid object with two identical ends and flat sides. The shape of the ends give the prism its name, such as a triangular prism shown here. And we can also have square prisms, pentagonal prisms, and more. All right, so each prism has a few things. First, it has bases, okay, and there are two of those. Okay? The base happens to be the two identical faces that are perpendicular to each other, or sorry, parallel to each other. So this face and this face have a name called the bases. Okay? A prism also has what's called faces. Okay? So in this case, this would be a face, and there would be three other faces just like that one. Okay? And then lastly, each prism has what's called edges. Okay? The edges are just the side lengths. Okay? So edges. All right, so let's talk about finding surface area of this particular prism. Okay? All right, so to find the surface area, okay, well, let's take a look at this prism first of all. We can see that it has some dimensions to it. It has an 11-inch edge, a 4-inch edge, and a 12-inch edge. Okay? But there's not just one of those. Okay, for example, this would also be 12 inches. This one would also be 4 inches. And then this one would also be 11 inches. All right, so how would we go about finding the surface area? Well, the surface area is just the area of all of the faces and the bases summed together. So for example, we have an 11 by 4 face. That's this one. Oops. Okay. And there are actually two of them. Okay, there's this one as well, one at the top. So 11 by 4 is 44, and then times 2, because there are two of them, gives us the 88 right here. Okay. All right, then we're also going to find the area of the faces. Okay, so we have two faces that are 11 by 12. Okay, that's this one right here. Okay, so the 11 by 12 would be this face right here. And there's one right behind it as well. So that gives us two of them. So the sum of those two faces together, the area of those two faces would be 264. Then we would also find the area of the two faces that are 4 by 12. So the 4 by 12 would be that one. Okay, and there are two of them. So together, that would be 96 that we see here. So adding up all of our surface areas, we get 88 plus 264 plus 96 for a total surface area of 448, and we label that as square inches. Okay, square inches. And that's how we're going to find the area of all of our prisms. We're going to find the area of each of the faces and add them all up. Okay. So let's talk about some other types of prisms, okay? So we said that we could name them according to their bases. Okay, so this first one, this is a rectangular prism because its base, or bases, is a rectangle. This one would be a hexagonal prism because its bases are hexagons. And then finally, this would be a pentagonal prism because its bases are a pentagon. We could also have triangular prisms, octagonal prisms, dodecagonal prisms. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. So there are some things that we need to make sure that we know about prisms, and that is first that they have bases. And bases are the two parallel congruent faces in a prism. We also have what's called the lateral edges. And these are the edges that connect the two bases. And those are the red lines here. We also have what's called lateral faces. Okay? These are just the faces that are not the bases. Okay? So in this instance, in this triagonal prism, the black sides would be the lateral faces. Okay? And then finally, we can have what's called the altitude of a prism. Okay? And that is just the perpendicular segment, okay, that joins these two bases. Okay? So if you were to stand the prism up on end where one of the bases is on the floor, okay, how high it is, okay, this length right here, that is the altitude of the prism. Okay, let's keep going. So here's an example that we're going to start with. We are to find the lateral area and surface area of the triangular prism. Okay, so the lateral area, okay, we see a little note here. The lateral area is the sum of the area of the faces, not including the bases. Okay, so we're looking for the lateral faces. All right, so to do that, what we're going to do is, and let's point out what those would be actually. Let's take a look. So the lateral area would be this rectangle, which is a 5 by 30 rectangle. And there's one on the other side of it, another 5 by 30 rectangle. And then we also have the floor, okay, which I'm calling it a floor. It looks like a tent to me. So the floor of the tent is another rectangle, okay, and that is a 6 by 30 rectangle. So we're going to find the area of each of those three rectangles and then add them up. That gives us the lateral area. All right, so again, this is 30 by 6. This would be the floor. This is a 30 by 5. Those are the two slanted sides. And another 30 by 5. Okay. All right. Well, we can see pretty easily that the areas for the lateral area are going to add up as such. We have a 30 by 5, and there's two of them. So altogether, that gives us 300. 30 times 5 is 150, times 2 gives us 300. Then we have the floor, the 30 by 6, which is 180. Adding those two together, or all three of those together, we get 480 for the lateral area. All right, now for the surface area, the entire surface area of the prism will be the lateral area plus the two bases, which are the two triangles. So we need to find the area of those triangles. Okay, so let's take a look, and we know that to find the area of a triangle, it's the base, so the base of the triangle, times the height of the triangle divided by 2. Well, right now, we know that the base is 5, but we don't know this height right here yet. Okay? The 5 is not the height, because it's slanted. The height is straight up and down. So the height, we can use our Pythagorean theorem again to figure it out. Okay? So I'm going to take this, just draw this again. So this one section is 3. That's half of the base. So that's 3. The slanted side is 5. So we could use the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and we would know that our height then is equal to 4. So now that we know the height of our triangle, we can find the area. Okay? So it's going to be this entire triangle. Okay? This is also 3 for a total base of 6. Okay? So we're going to do 6 times the height of 4, and then divided by 2, and that gives us 12, which is the area of the one of the triangles. Okay. But we've got 2 of them. We've got this one and we've got this one. So we need to multiply times 2. 12 times 2 gives us 24. Okay. So that's the area of the bases. So finally, the surface area is going to be our lateral area of 480 plus our base areas of 24. Adding those together, we get 504. That's how you find the lateral area and the surface area of a triangular prism. Okay, let's look at another one. This is a regular octagonal prism. So we see that it has an edge here, okay, of 22, and they're telling us that one side of the octagon is 5 centimeters. We have to find the surface area. So again, we're going to do just like we did previously. We need to find the area of each of the octagons, okay, the bases, plus we need to find the area of each of these rectangles. Okay, and there are going to be 8 of those because it's an octagon. Okay, and then we're going to add all of those areas together to get the total surface area. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so surface area, again, is the lateral area plus the area of the bases. Well, the lateral area, that's going to be the easy part. Okay, we have a 5 by 22 rectangle, okay, and there are 8 of them. Okay, so 5 by 22, and there's 8 of them, which gives us 880 for the lateral area. Okay, the area that's not including the bases. Now, we're going to have to go back to Unit 9 and use our knowledge of finding the area of a regular octagon, okay, which is the apothem times perimeter divided by 2. Okay? So I'm not going to go through that entire thing again because we spent a couple of weeks doing that. So if you need to go back and look at those notes and look at those videos, I would suggest you do that. Okay, so anyway, we would find then that the area of one of the octagons is 120.8, but since we have 2 of them, the total area of the bases then would be 241.6. Now, their total surface area would be the lateral area plus the base areas, and we get a total surface area of 1,121.6. And it's the same process for every single prism that we're going to come across. Okay? You find the lateral area, you find the base areas, and you add them up. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the video. I would suggest that you rewind if you need to. Go back and look at those notes for finding the area of a regular polygon if you need to. Okay? And And then you have a couple of homework assignments for Monday and Tuesday. So take a look at those and do your best. We will have another help session tomorrow at 2 p.m. If that is a conflict for you, you just need to let me know, and I can certainly schedule another one just for us. All right. Thanks a lot. Good luck. Take care.